Ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome to the very first edition of Random with Afeda Samuel. It is a show where we talk about so many things, different things, random things. We are digging for extraordinary things in ordinary places. And I have my guest here with me in the studio today, the very first guest to ever grace Random, Mr. Gbemisola Falona. You are welcome on the show.
Thank you very much, Mr. Afeda. It's a pleasure being here.
It's a great pleasure to have you.
Thank you, sir.
I love your beards.
Thank you. I also love yours too.
Have you ever imagined yourself without beards?
I look very terrible.
So are you telling us that there is no plan of you removing the beards anytime soon?
Well, if I would, I think I would do it systematically, or else my wife might wake up to see a total stranger. She has never seen me without beards before.
Your wife has never seen you
without beards before.
You've been married for how long?
For 4 years. 4 years plus.
Dated for how long?
We dated for 7 months.
So that means you've had your beards for like how long?
I've had my beards for more than 10-15 years.
10-15 years?
Yes.
Wow, interesting.
In fact, I've had it for almost 20-something years.
Wow. Where were you 20-something years ago?
Yeah, 20-something years ago, I was about entering Polytechnic.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. So you attended the Polytechnic?
Yes, I went to Federal Polytechnic Ede, Osun State. That was in 2003.
2003.
Yes.
So I'm trying to do my mental calculation now. You've had your beard since like 20 years ago.
Yes.
I'm tempted to ask how old are you, but I will not go there. Well, but then I will not go there. I don't want to go there.
I've had it since Craig David's time.
Craig David's time.
Yes.
So, like, how many decades have you spent on that? I don't want to be specific. I don't want to be specific, but I just want to be sure.
More than 3.
More than 3 decades.
Yes, more than 3 decades.
Of course.
Yes,
of course, more than 3 decades. So that means you were privileged to know more about Nigeria during the military era.
Yes, I experienced it.
Recently, people have been saying we are gradually slipping back to the military era. Can you compare and contrast what we have now with the little experience of the military era you had?
Well, during that military era, so I would say 91, 92, 93, I was fairly of age, so at least I was aware of my surroundings and the government of that time. So I was in primary school and actually went to a police children's school.
Okay.
As a civilian. Mm-hmm. But that school was meant for police children, but civilians could go there. So I always remember that we always have military administrators, unlike now that we have governors. Mm-hmm. And right now in Rivers State, they have an administrator. So slowly we are slipping back into that era. And sincerely, the question you've asked has been bothering me a whole lot, because I grew up in a system where my mother would always tell me, you guys are not enjoying. There used to be this, there used to be that, there used to be cinemas, there used to be this. And sincerely, growing up, we didn't get to see all those things. Mm-hmm. In fact, most of the cinemas had been converted to churches by the time I grew up. But after 2000, after democracy, after military, then democracy, things sincerely changed. And I told myself, I think I will not have to tell my kids of a better yesterday. But with the question you've asked now, I think that might not be possible. Okay,
let me re-ask my question. Right. Let me recant on that question.
Right.
I want to know about freedom of expression. Expression has been one of the hallmarks of democracy. That freedom of expression, and one of the saddest part of military is that there is no freedom of expression.
Yes.
You express yourself, you get picked up or something.
Yes.
We have countless examples. So now, do you think the freedom of expression we have in Nigeria now, can you compare it to the one we had in the military era?
Well, I'll be very sincere. No. During that military era, you can't say anything. People ask me, how did you know? How old are you? I remember that time Abiola died. And there was this man called Ologundudu.
Yeah, the Ewi
guy that chants. So I remember he did one record that time. And he was angry and was speaking against the military. So my mom got this cassette from a church member. So we went for evening service. But you know, women after church now, they will greet this, greet that. So I had already gone home with the tape and I had already started playing it. We used to stay in a 3-story building, face me and slap you. And everybody, I can boldly say it, in that whole building had already assembled in front of our doorstep, listening to what I was playing. By the time my mother came, my mother screamed, "Omo, iti pa mi o." And that just showed you how just playing something that was against the government was almost an aberration. You can't do it.
So what do you have to say about people comparing what we have now to what we used to have in military?
No. It's an extreme comparison. But I understand why one would want to compare. You said it. Freedom of speech is the hallmark of democracy. Now, when you have an intentional, overt attempt to curtail, to cover it up, people will talk.
Yeah. I follow you on social media. I know you are a vocal person yourself.
Yes.
I know you like to talk about things you don't agree with, or some things that are bothering your mind, and all. So what do you have to say about the expression and the style of expression of Nigerians nowadays? Nigerians are angry. They are frustrated. And out of that frustration, they are saying a lot of things. We have a case not too long ago of Raye, the copper, and how she expressed her mind.
Yes.
We had the case of who again? There's this guy, VDM, that has always been expressing his mind. And I believe that expression is key. What's your take on that?
The truth of the matter is this. I might now be sounding like a old record to some people. I have always believed in manner of approach. I grew up in a situation where you could actually be right, but if your presentation is kind of wrong, you might end up being the wrong person. So your approach to everything is very important. The words you choose is very important. But I would tell you for free, this generation has lost it in terms of expression. Yes. Olamide will say freedom of speech is guaranteed, but freedom after speech, he can't say it.
I think he took that line from Gabi or something.
But the truth of the matter, oh wow! But the truth of the matter is this: in the bit of expressing oneself, one can get maybe emotional, is understandable, but it seems as if now people conjure. I don't want to use the word anger, but will I say expletives, abusing, mudslinging to express themselves. And it seems to be what this current generation speaks with. I don't know. Maybe because during our own days, you can't even speak back to your parents. So it's a double-edged sword for me. And I don't know which part of it to pick and not get caught. Because one way, I actually love how it is not off the mic and Sorosuke. Yes. But the other way, I'm also thinking, okay, as in how far is too far? Where's the balance?
Yeah.
And I'm also thinking, okay, if we put the balance there, are we now not curtailing people and now tending towards cutting off freedom of speech? So I don't even know where the balance is.
Okay. Talking about growing up, you mentioned growing up, you dare not speak back to your parents.
Yes.
Take us back into your growing up. What was it like for you? Where did you grow up and what was it like?
So I actually grew up in Ibadan.
Okay.
I've been in Ibadan for all of my life.
Wow.
I grew up in Jericho because mom used to work at forestry. So it's either we are around that axis or we move a little bit to LA. So it's been LA Jericho.
Oh, so that means you never really had that interior about experience. The Bere, Oje, Opoyosa.
I wish I had, but
you wish.
I wish, of course, now because everybody likes that persona when they speak the so one CN.
Okay.
But unfortunately, I couldn't.
I think you probably are just getting to like that now that you are older. Because I remember that back then you couldn't have enjoyed that kind of.
Because back then, even speaking Pidgin English was seen as you being an illiterate.
So you growing up in LA, Jericho, where will you place your family? Middle class, lower class, upper class?
My brother, lower class.
Lower class.
Lower class. Yes.
So,
but I had a mom that wanted the best for her kids. So she made sure that we lived the life of a middle class. So I went to a private school. And when we lived at Jericho, we might not live in the big houses. It might be the small one, but it's still amongst the elite. So I had I would say, a bit of a middle class life.
A bit of a middle class life. Tell me something about your mom.
Mom, well, strict Christian, strict disciplinarian, very, very reserved woman.
Let me pick on that strict disciplinarian. Were you ever traumatized as a kid? Yeah. Or are you traumatized? Do you have traumas from your childhood?
I would say yes. Yes. it's hard to believe how, because some people will say the word trauma is a new lexicon.
Yes, it is actually strange to me too, because growing up I never had the word trauma until recently, when they included it in our dictionary, and we've been hearing trauma and some other words like that. So you are telling me about your traumatic experience.
Yes, so
do you have one? Does a particular experience come to mind?
I have many, but I think I can remember one.
Okay.
So I was already in secondary school.
Which secondary school did you
I went to Lele secondary school.
Okay.
So I was already in secondary school, and all through my schooling days, both primary and secondary, none of my friends came to my house for visitation.
Why?
My mom doesn't want to see anyone.
Okay, but were you allowed to visit them?
No, allowed to visit. You leave school, you come back home. And you know, as kids, we would play, and some would say, "Oh, let's go to my house," and we'll go. And some of their parents were cool. They even make tea for us, omotania and everything. But I know my own parents wouldn't allow that. But over time, we had already gone to every of my friends' houses except mine. So decided that they were coming to mine. I was in secondary school then, and I had these big egbons, street egbons that had gymming equipment, the locally made ones, behind our house. So when those friends came, I was thinking my mom should still be at work, and went to the backyard, and we're carrying those weights and having fun, only for one whip to come from nowhere. And we're flogged like Jesus flogged those people out of the synagogue.
Okay.
I'm sorry, it was serious. And I wasn't really, it wasn't the pain of the whip that affected me. Not as much as the embarrassment. These guys were coming to my house for the first time, and somebody's beating them and saying that, and everything. And I guess they were also traumatized, because we got back to school the next day. They didn't talk about it. I don't even think
so happy that nobody mentioned it.
Yeah, but I was feeling bad. Because
so now, growing up with that kind of experience, where will you place yourself? Which school of thoughts do you subscribe to? You spare the child, spare the rod and spoil the child, or no eating at all?
I think I would say I'm in between.
Okay.
I actually believe there should be a balance. So if the child makes an infraction and you want to discipline, at least let the disciplinary action be in proportion to whatever the child must have done. Unlike our own parents, where anything can be used to beat you. And I felt maybe they were even living vicariously through us, because there are some things that were not even our own issues. Ma ba omolagbaja sọ̀rọ̀ àbí má lọ ṣeré lọ́dọ̀ so person. Then you, as a child, go to one place and play, and they are beating you. Apparently, maybe your mom and dad want to add issues. So what is my own business?
You're an extension of your parents.
Exactly. So why should they beat me for it? But I think one can discipline the child.
Okay.
Yes, appropriate.
Are you a patriotic Nigerian? Do you consider yourself a patriotic Nigerian?
Do I even consider myself a Nigerian?
That's the first question then.
I don't think I even consider myself as a Nigerian.
Why?
I think I consider myself more as a Yoruba person.
Are you tribalistic?
I'm not tribalistic.
So why would you consider yourself first as a Yoruba person, or rather than being a Nigerian?
It's my reality.
Okay, tell me about it.
I have more of an identity with where I come from.
Okay.
Because I don't think
your dressing is not
yes.
It's actually not giving credence.
Yes. Okay. You are very right. You are very right in that observation, and I will explain myself. In fact, I would even say I have more affiliations with the Western world that colonized us than even the Nigerian name. Because when we say, are you patriotic? You are patriotic to a set of ideology. I know the ideology of my Yoruba heritage. I know the Omoluabi ideology. I don't know the Nigerian ideology. I don't know.
Okay, that's the Nigerian dream, not the Nigerian ideology. Japa is the Nigerian dream, not the Nigerian ideology.
So sincerely, I don't know what is the mantra for that nomenclature Nigeria as a geographical construct that brings different cultures together. So what is the unifying line? I don't know it.
You don't?
I don't know it.
So what are you still doing here?
Because
will I be right to say if you lay your hands on 30, 40, 50 million naira now, you and your family, you are leaving Nigeria with the next available flight? Are you Team Japa or Team Nigeria?
Sincerely, you're putting me on the spot. Now you mentioned, you didn't even mention 15, 20, you said 20, 30.
Yes, that's what it takes now for if you want to. Okay, maybe if you want to go and study abroad. I've even learned that is old. That's getting stale now. That
That's
you need
the
more
price.
than that for you to have your maybe masters or PhD. If you want to travel through studies or something.
It's a big question. I don't even know why I'm finding that to answer, and that just shows you that I'm even indecisive. It should be a no-brainer. I should just be able to tell you I'm not going, or I should be able to tell you I can go.
Okay, let me rephrase. How much will you have that will make you think of relocating from Nigeria?
That will make me think of relocating to Nigeria. I don't even need any money. If I have any opportunity to leave, I'm leaving.
So now let me ask, how much will it take to have you stay back in Nigeria?
Okay, 30-40, like you said.
If you have that, you are thinking about. Do you believe Nigeria has problems?
Well, you see, the name Nigeria. Okay, now you see,
Nigeria is problem.
the name Nigeria is what is giving me the problem itself. Because when you mention Nigeria now, you're not just talking to Gbemi as a Yoruba boy. You are talking of Gbemi in a geographical construct amongst 200 million people of different ethnicity and culture. And that's the question you're asking me in relating to every one of us in that construct. And I'm thinking, what unifies us? What makes us one? What makes us have one direction?
The Constitution.
Okay, the Constitution. Okay.
I'm asking, it could be the Constitution.
Yes, it could
At
be.
least we have something that binds us, and that is the Constitution that says that we are one indivisible entity, sovereign entity.
Yes, random talks, right? And we can't say anything.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, so yes, in that same Constitution, right here in this geographical location, Ibadan to be precise, I can't get married to a 13-year-old girl. But in this same Nigeria, a 30-year-old girl can be considered a woman in another part of this same Nigeria.
Yes.
Still the same Constitution.
Still the same Constitution.
Okay.
Same coin, different sides.
All right.
So now, I was asking if you think Nigeria has a problem, but you have not been able to answer me particularly. Do you think Nigeria is problem? Nigeria is problem or Nigeria has a problem?
Well, maybe the joining together of different cultures, different people with different ways of life without a definite unifying constitution makes it a big problem. But does Nigeria have a problem? Maybe leadership.
Maybe leadership.
Leadership problem. Not even maybe. I think leadership.
Who's your favorite Nigerian politician?
Favorite? Politician. None.
You cannot put favorite and politician in the same sentence.
No.
So now, as a social media person, mention 3 Nigerians you dislike seeing on social media.
Portable.
1.
Very dark man.
2.
Blessing CEO.
What do they have in common?
They have no substance, but they are very intelligent, and that's a big problem.
They have no substance, but they are very intelligent.
Yes.
I'm trying to see how intelligent Portable is.
Yes.
Tell me.
Because an average monkey is very intelligent.
And you believe he lives in this, he's a baboon, he lives in the zoo.
Yes. An average monkey is intelligent. An average pelican is intelligent. Pelican can steal anything from anybody, but they have no wisdom. They can't live beyond what they are. They are still animals.
And you think that best describes
yes.
What of VDM?
Yes, same thing. VDM too is extremely intelligent, but I think VDM is a product of Nigeria, a product of pain, and a product of unresolved trauma.
That's heavy.
Yes.
That's heavy. And then lastly, Blessing CEO.
Blessing CEO, as in unto much is given, much is expected. And if you come to equity, you come with clean hands. So if I want to preach chastity, I must even be one that has a string line of sexual abuses on my neck. As in I should be the standard of I should be the standard of whatever I want to preach.
That's interesting.
Yes.
Standard of whatever you want to preach.
Yes.
How well will you assess? How well do you think Nigerian preachers are doing?
Hey.
I know you're a Christian.
I am a Christian.
I know your wife is a music minister.
Yes, she is a music minister.
So now I want you to balance Nigerian preachers and Nigerian music ministers. There have been clashes in the last few days.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on this?
My thoughts on this. So let me start with Nigerian preachers.
Yeah.
So I read my Bible very well. I have a Christian background, and like I said earlier, my mom is a Christian. My dad too is actually a Christian.
This is the first time you're mentioning your dad.
Yes, because I come from a broken home. Yes, my parents were not together.
Okay.
I've not been together for as early as I can tell. So I come from a single parent background.
Okay.
And talking about preaching, talking about pastors, my mom, when she had issues with her marital life, took to Christ a lot. So he gave me the opportunity to firsthand have what it takes to know God personally, then externally with the church as an extension. But the truth of the matter is that things have changed. Yes, I used to know pastors to be shepherds, leading their flocks to a destination which is heaven. So how you live the good life, they help you with that. But now I see more of jobbers and businessmen out there.
Jobbers and businessmen. So does that apply to the music ministers too?
The music ministers. So now there are too many dimensions to this.
Maybe we should dissect it.
There are too many dimensions.
Maybe we should dissect it. Music ministers, gospel entertainers, and gospel what again? Now I think you're having gospel hype men now.
Yes.
Okay, we can actually subsume that under entertainment. We have gospel entertainers, we have music ministers. I think we should differentiate those two and now talk about what do you think of is the place of both of them in the body of Christ. Like you said, okay, so now let me pick it from the basic. Looking at the Bible, where is the space and place for music? A very, very definitive one that one can point to was when Saul had issues with God, fell from favor, out of favor with God, and it was written that evil spirit do visit him. And the only time you could have a calm mind is when someone that is skilled in string could minister, and that's where David came in. And they got David, and whenever David plays, evil spirit leaves. When the children of Israel wants to go to war, there is a tribe called the Levites. These are the tribes. This is the tribe that is in charge of music and taking care of God's sanctuary. So like I'm saying, the Levites, that tribe is in charge of music, and whenever the Israelites were going to war, they had a very definitive space there. It shows that music is very important. And in Christendom, there's what they call fivefold ministry. I don't know if you can help me with it. I know there's prophecy, there's we have evangelists, we have apostles, we have I think teachers.
Yes, teachers of the word.
Yes, I can't remember the last one now.
Good. I believe that music ministers, gospel music ministers, are also evangelists.
Okay.
Because the word gospel actually means good news. So if you're a gospel music minister, that should mean that you are a music minister that preaches the good news through music. So why am I going through all this route? I believe that as a gospel music minister, you hold an important aspect in the church. And what should come out from you should be something edifying, something that should be in the construct of what you call yourself, gospel music minister. Gospel meaning good news. But what we have now are people that just import slangs, imports trends, nuances from hip-hop,
street hop.
Yes, then use and then smuggle it in
creatively.
Yes, sometimes not even creatively.
Are you sure?
Yes, I've seen music where it's the same lyrics, it's the same word, it's the same progression of what we have out there.
Or sometimes a mutilated version. Like the one I saw yesterday, one guy that was leading praise worship and that was doing Joy is Coming. It was a mutilated version of Joy is Coming because it sounded nothing like the original. It was a very, very mutilated version of the original song. Please, go ahead.
And I would even say that one is the good one, because we have one that gospel music minister mentioning Gege, mentioning words like Hude. Now, Hude is one thing I was telling my wife. So I showed her a video of do you remember this YouTuber that came to Nigeria? This very popular YouTuber.
Kai Sena.
Yes, Kai Sena that came to Nigeria. There was a time he was in a vehicle with Davido. And Davido was saying, Hude! And Kai also said it. And Davido said, stop, don't give us wahala. And my wife was like, why? I said, because that is a slang, that's a lexicon of a certain sect of confraternity. I have gospel music minister that says it.
But probably does not understand the meaning.
So I've also seen videos of gospel a gospel music minister grinding. They call it a crusher dance.
Why are they crushing?
They are crushing weed. So like I was saying, you see gospel music ministers during their performances, because now I can't even call it ministration. Okay. Because what I see them doing is just performances. And
so will it be justified to just regard them as gospel entertainers?
Most of them.
So does gospel entertainers have a place in the body of Christ?
I don't think so, because praise in itself is not for us. I'm sorry, praise in itself is not for us. Praise is for God. So praise is not an embodiment of how music composition makes us feel, but how it's going to move God. Because praise is not meant for we,
the human.
Yes, it's meant for God. So for them coming over to entertain us, I think they are just doing their own work.
Okay, so a sequel to that one now. A gospel entertainer, as humans, you have rightly said it, that worship is not for us.
It's not for us.
But entertainment is actually a very, very effective tool to appeal to the young minds.
Okay.
So for example, if I'm a pastor, I'm having a church and I'm organizing a crusade or a concert, I want to save souls.
Okay.
And then I feel that there's this particular musician who has high entertainment value under the gospel umbrella, and it could dwell on that. I can actually use that as entertainment value to pull crowd to my service, where I will now hold them like this and lead them to the presence of the Most High. So do you think if I'm bringing such a person for a particular purpose, not to worship God, but to attract the streets, to attract the crowd to my service, and the person is saying, give me so amount of money for my professional duties or professional services that you require, which is to pull crowd, do you think that's out of place?
You'll be shocked at my answer. It's not out of place.
Okay.
Now the broader question is, should gospel music ministers be paid? The broader question is, should gospel entertainers also be paid? I would say yes.
And the ministers too?
I would say yes.
Okay.
Because when we check Matthew chapter 10 verse 9, that was the part where Christ told the disciples and sent them out 2 by 2. And I'll paraphrase it. He said that they should, whenever they get to a town, they should seek out someone that is deserving. And if you can check the Greek word of that deserving, it actually means someone that appreciates, someone that has the capacity to host. And he said you should stay with that person. So, and God told them, and Christ told them not to take anything on that journey.
Yeah.
So, and he said one thing, that a worker is entitled to his wage. So it's not wrong to get something for what you've done, but there's a catch to it. According to that Bible verse that I just paraphrased, it means that it is a burden on whoever wants to invite, to actually host. And hosting means that taking care of whoever you are calling, be it for ministration, be it for entertainment, which I don't even agree with that should be in the Christendom.
Okay.
But in this context of our conversation, should they be paid? According to the word of God, yes. Should they charge? No. Because if you read that part again, there was no part where they said you should charge, but he said you should inquire. So you should get to a place and they should at least be able to cover your logistics. And I think the issue of payment and no payment in Christendom in relating to gospel music minister stems from the lack of honor culture of most churches and pastors. My own opinion.
Okay.
And from my own experiences.
Okay. I don't want to dwell much on this because it's random.
Yes.
And I have another random place I want to take you to.
All right.
You studied what did you study?
Okay. So when I was at the Polytechnic, I studied marketing.
Okay.
Then where I also schooled at University of Ado-Ekiti, now EXUT, Ekiti State University, and I studied banking and finance.
Okay.
Yes.
So will you you work in the media?
Yes,
by the way.
Yes.
Will you by any stretch of luck advise anybody to study mass comm?
Why not? Yes, I wish I had studied mass communication.
You wish?
Yes, I did. I wish I had studied mass communication, and I thank God for the opportunity of, I don't know if I can mention Primus Media, but that's where I got, I would say, a first-hand deep learning of how the media works.
Now, some few weeks back,
yes,
City FM in Lagos,
yes,
employed Olajumoke Onibread. Few months before then, I think was it Cool FM in Lagos employed Thatcher of Big Brother fame.
Yes.
This week,
yes,
Agidigbo FM employed Sam Oniroyin.
Yes.
So, what are you now? Why do you think anybody should go to school to study mass comm? Why not just go on social media and start trying your luck? And if you blow, you get employed.
I love the angle that you are taking me to, and that's why I get I pity when I hear any radio person, I'm intentionally using my words, appel the name or nomenclature OAP to themselves. Why? Because all those people you just mentioned are on air personality. They are being brought on here because of their personality. They are not presenters. They are not broadcast journalists. So when I hear someone say that I'm an OAP, and I like what Alhaji Oriyomi did, because I watched when he was unveiling the young boy and was showing him the letter of employment. He said this is the youngest OAP. He was very very careful choice of his words. He didn't say the youngest presenter because he knows what it entails for you to call someone a presenter. So whenever I see people calling themselves OAP,
I still have issues with the word presenter. Actually, I think I still have issues with the word presenter because anybody could be trained to be a public speaker.
Yes.
A public speaker who has been trained in public speaking and everything could still be kind of regarded as a presenter. A
presenter, according to BBC definition, even according to Wikipedia, is someone that is actually trained to do a systematic presentation. So you don't expect an OAP to read the news because the news is not random.
So now this is where my own I'm trying to distinguish it. An OAP on a personality, it could be a pastor, it could be a mechanic.
Yes.
We have to do Okoya. We have Rotimi Johnson, radio they are mechanics, but they have a personality and they are on radio.
Yes.
So I understand that. A presenter could be someone who is someone like Castor Martins is a renowned MC. If he's talking on radio, he's a presenter. But for someone who has studied broadcasting, who must apply the code, those are broadcast journalists.
Yes.
So there are certain things that an OAP will do that you will forgive. There are certain things that a presenter will do that you will forgive.
Yes.
And there are certain things that the same thing.
Yes.
You may not forgive a broadcast journalist because he's expected to know better and must have studied the code, know what the code is, know how to apply the code and all.
The truth of the matter is that what defines them is actually the role they play.
Yes.
Ordinarily,
ideally.
Ideally, yes. But now
we have to differentiate idea from reality.
But now in reality, the lines have been blurred, and you have people that are not trained, that are not broadcast journalists, given the role of a broadcast presenter, and this is where we have issues. And that's why we have infractions, and that's why we could have presenters who doesn't even know the code of conduct of the job being employed to do, and they run afoul of it. And I don't think one can blame them. One can only blame the regulating body, who seems to be sleeping and being
finally, if you have a superpower to change anything in this world, what would that be?
Maybe take people like Portable, people like Very Dark Man, people like Blessing CEO, and put them where they ought to be, which is probably in a nursery school being tutored on the etiquette of life as it should be, and not them
going through therapy.
But not them being the one dispensing knowledge like what we have now, and people are sucking up to it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's the first episode of Random with Afroda Samuel. And of course, I'm so sure that you must have enjoyed my guests for this week as we've traveled through different random terrains just to get a piece of his mind. And I'm sure you have learned a thing or two. So please don't forget to do what now? To subscribe to this channel, subscribe to the channel and set your notification. Yes, Afroda Samuel. And please don't forget to share and drop your comments in the comment section. Let's know what you agree with, what you disagree with, and let's have some more fun. So till next time, Afroda Samuel is the name. Thank you.
Thank you.